So let me start with this sample verbal question. The cost of producing an item is directly proportional to the quality of materials used in its manufacture. And you think to yourself, is that true? Which of the following statements most seriously weakens the above argument? Again, the cost of producing an item is directly proportional to the quality of materials used in its manufacture. A, some high-quality materials are readily available at low costs. Well, that would contradict the statement. Okay, so that's in the running. Production costs include labor and overhead. What about it? Quality control procedures add to production costs. True. Again, what about it? Does that affect the correlation between the quality of the raw materials and the cost of producing it? I don't think it's a close correlation. D, better materials require more skilled labor. Again, I would question whether it's true, but what of it? Wouldn't that corroborate that if you're starting with more expensive material, quality material, and they cost more, then you end up with production that costs more? I think that doesn't fight it. And last, the manufacturing process vary in efficiency. Well, that's obvious. So I'm going back to A. If I were doing this one, I'm modeling it for you, the kind of thinking that will help you work efficiently and with clarity and get the right answer, even if you only think you're guessing. So I'm going to go with A, that some high-quality materials are readily available at low costs. So if you can get quality for a bargain, some quality for some bargains, and that would contradict that the cost of producing an item is directly proportional to the quality of the materials, meaning quality materials could be high, but the cost is low because sometimes you don't get what you pay for, you get a bargain. So I think that's the most closely aligned, and that is the answer. Let's see, should we do another critical reasoning problem? I have a long integrated reasoning problem. So let's start with a short but difficult math question. So math is quant and English is verbal. I'm going to just say that. What is the average of the terms in set J? And you're thinking, well, what's in set J? Because we need to know that before we get to the average. And just to say the obvious, add all the values up, divide them by the number of members of set J, and that'll give us the average. Okay, so statement one. Oh, this is a data sufficiency question. Is statement one alone sufficient? Statement two alone? Either of them do the job? You need them together to work as a team. That's both. And neither. So statement one, two, together, either, neither. Some use the acronym, which won't matter because you're going to be given these fixed format answers on the test, but some people use the mnemonic 1, 2, 10, the word 10, T-E-N, 1, 2, 10. One alone, two alone together, either are sufficient and neither are sufficient. You would need more information. So what is the average of the terms in set J? Statement one, the sum of any three terms in set J is 21. Well, how would that be? I mean, if you have 3 7s, that would give you a 21, and you could have a 0 and a 7 and a 14. Add them together, you divide it by 3, you would get 14. If there were only 3 items in that set, then any 3 items could be all over the place, but the average, if the sum is 21, then the average would be 3, because the sum of the 3 divided by 3 is 7. So we could get that. So one alone is good. And statement 2, which we didn't mention, set J consists of 12 total terms. Okay, interesting. And what are they? So we would add them up and divide by 12. And what are the terms? We have no idea. According to statement 1, maybe they're all 7s. And therefore any 3 are 7s. Then the average of J with 12 sevens would come to 7, but we don't have that information from statement 2 alone, and statement 1 doesn't need it. So I'm saying that statement 1 alone is sufficient. And there we go. Now, I will say I've seen these questions before, so I have, rather than clairvoyance, I have clarity of mind as to where we go with these and why. Now, I want to, let's switch over to another file. I have a long, very wordy sample, but it's not actually hard. Okay, so there are 3 emails sent in close succession, back and forth between a wedding coordinator to a bride and groom, but it's only the bride. Again, I've seen this before. It's only the bride who writes back, and just for simplicity, I'm going to call the wedding coordinator he and the bride she, just to make things simpler, even if it's an assumption. Okay, so this happened, all these emails happened on February 12th, some morning, and the wedding is coming up. So first we have email 1. The final head count for booking the pavilion for the reception is today. Okay, the final head count is today. Deadline. Right now we have a rough estimate of 425 people. Is this still true? And if so, do we know how many of them will be having the chicken dinner? So that was 10:13 in the morning. Then at 10:27, 14 minutes later, pretty quick, the bride writes back, well, we're still waiting on 40 invitations to RSVP. We gave a deadline of February 15th. Let me see. Oh, I see. She gave a deadline that was 3 days later. Maybe it's too late, but 3 days doesn't sound too bad. Is there a possibility for an extension to the 15th? So she's asking for a 3-day delay. Okay, sounds reasonable. Of the current 425 guests, oh yeah, that's what the coordinator said. He also voted 425. 375 have wanted the chicken dinner. So that's a tentative number. And I'm going to read the last email from the coordinator. And by the way, some people like to jump ahead, and it's a technique. It's not for everybody. It's not right or wrong. Based on the given information on the emails, determine whether the following 3 statements are justified or not justified. So the first question is, the wedding coordinator is not willing to extend the guest head count deadline. Not willing. Now let's find that out. Oh, actually, we read that at a very opportune time. So email 3 from the coordinator at 11:02, so about a half an hour later, same morning. He says, I will reach out to Pavilion to see if an extension is possible and get back to you this afternoon. Well, that sounds flexible. We can always assume for more, since the Pavilion does offer a refund if any changes are made at least a week prior to the wedding. We don't really know when the wedding is, but that sounds like flexibility. So Roman numeral 1, the wedding coordinator is not willing to extend the... Nope, that's not justified. I would say he is. Okay, so we have not, and I'm going to put this in bold. The bride does not have a specific expected date to RSVP. Oh, I think she does. Oh yeah, remember we're talking on the 12th. She needs 3 more days. Is there a possibility to extension to the 15th? Which is, I mean, it's not a bridezilla like she wants another month. So Roman number 2, the bride does not have a specific expected date. Nope, that's not justified. So we have 1 and 2. The wedding coordinator is not willing to extend. Yes, he is. Not justified. 2, the bride does not have a specific date to RSVP. Yes, she does. Not justified. I'll put that in bold also. Now, before we go on to the third question, justified or not, I want to point out that I would expect, AI doesn't write these tests, people do. And, they can have 5 problems in a row whose answer is E, but I would doubt it. I think they like to mix it up. So before I read Roman numeral 3, I'm thinking it's probably justified. Why? Because otherwise I'm going to have not justified, not justified, not justified. And I think that's a bit much. What is that? No, it is possible. Yes. No, good point. And by the way, that would be rare, that's not the same thing as it's impossible. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, you got me there. That's true. I may have overstated it. I'm just saying that I put it in the back of my mind that I'm not going to be rushing to say not justified for 3 answers. It's not what I would expect on the test. So what is question Roman numeral 3? The wedding coordinator gives additional options to the bride in case the pavilion will not give an extension. Yes. Double check. Yes. One, he'll reach out. So he's going to try to accommodate in an extra few days. And then we can always assume a little bit more, meaning, well, right now we have 375 out of 425. Okay, personally, I think that's a huge number for chicken dinners. I don't know what the other choices are, and I'm vegetarian, but we leave all that at the gate, and we say, okay, so she wants to estimate 380, 385. Okay. Anyway, he gives her 2 backups. One, I'll ask for a few days, and 2 is you still have until a week before, and they'll give you a refund even if you overestimate and pay. So that would be justified. And bingo, we're right. So not justified that the wedding coordinator is unwilling to extend. Oh, do you notice it says here not willing to extend? I reworded it unwilling. Why not? We're not married to their wording as long as we're not changing the meaning. 2, the bride doesn't have a specific expected date. Yes, she does. Not justified. But this last one is justified that the coordinator gives additional options. Yeah, options, 2 or more, to the bride in case the pavilion will not give an extension. Oh, actually, no. First, he'll ask for an extension. Technically, he offers 1 chance after that, which is you pay up and you'll get a refund. So they have some money in hand. And also, if there's a difference of maybe 3 or 4, you might say, oh, 385, 380. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just leave it because they're not going to allow me to estimate 381. So that's, of course, it has to be in 5s. Come on, get real. Okay, very good. Yeah, I thought that was very good. Let's go back to the other page and see. Let's see, math problems. I would like to do another math problem. But since I'm videoing this trying to do too many things at once. Since I'm videoing this mock tutorial and it's supposed to go to 20 minutes, I just didn't set it up. I tried it once or twice, set it up where you can see me and the lighting is just right and I'm composed and relaxed and I'm pretending there's a student on the other side of the video or the desk. Now we have these problems, so I did want to choose some problems that even if you didn't see them would not be impossible if I just recite them. So I'm trying to select some that are in that direction. Okay, here's a question. Well, it's algebra. Yeah, and it has to do with exponents, the next one too. We have 4 raised to the x power. Well, that's a little funky. Plus the same thing, 4 to the x, plus a third, 4 to the x equals 192. So what is the x value? And in this case, we're only given A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, the test will always have a 5th choice. Always, always, always. And they don't have to be in alphabetical order, in numerical order. They often are, for simplicity's sake, but they don't have to be. So how do we solve this for the x value? Okay, so you've heard of plug and chug. Plug and chug is you take an answer. Well, I'm not going to pick 4. I'm going to pick A, which is 1, because it's the baby one to try. I plug it in, and I chug through the problem to see if we get results. This is very good. But like all approaches, tips, tricks, hints, and hacks on standardized tests, none of them are absolute. Like you will always do this, or this will always work. And by the way, if you plugged 4 in, that would be a big waste of time, because if you plug 3 in and they're wrong, I'm looking at the question with only 4 answers. You're going to get 5 answers. If you plug everything but 1 in, and the others are wrong, I strongly suggest you do not plug the last one in to be absolutely sure that that one is right, because you pretty much know it is. Now, you're going to save a lot of time by skipping that. Why? Well, it's not 100% that if you plug 4 answers in and they're wrong, that they really were wrong, because we're human. We have human error. That's the name of the game. However, at the same time, it's a big waste of time to plug in the 5th one and then find out, oh, Mo, that's wrong, so I must have made a mistake here. Where? You're going to redo A, B, C, and then are you going to redo D also? So you're just eating up too much time. And believe me, you can get a stellar score, not just an A, but an A++, even if you make a mistake on a few. Not per section, but in a few in the whole exam. You know what? Yes, I can prove that with numbers, but I don't want to take the time right now. Let me come back to that. I'll make a note. Proving stellar score despite missing a few. I can show it to you in numbers, not just in logic. Okay, so we're back to what's the value of x, and we're going to try a plug and chug. A is 1. So 4 to the x power is 4 to the first power, which is 4. And you multiply it by 3. I'm not going to add 4 to the first, plus 4 to the first, plus 4 to the first, because that's algebra. You can do, it's the distributive law, 3 of them. So you take the 3, you take the 4 out, and you add 1, 1, 1 equals 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Well, 12 does not equal 192. That's not good. But then I say, well, if 12 doesn't equal 92 because it's so far away, I don't think I'm going to try, this is part of plug and chug, I don't think I'm going to try to plug in B, which is 2, and chug away, because that looks too, I don't think we're going to get there. Well, let's try 3. 4 cubed, let's see, 4 squared is 8, and then cube is 16. Did I do that right? No, that's not right. 4 times 4 is 16, multiply another 4 is 64. Okay, yeah, so there we go. 4 to the third is 64, and 3 of those is 192. Bingo! Okay, so if I wasn't talking so much, I could have done that. I took 5-10 seconds to read it, and then to consider that I'm going to plug in 1. For me, that's about 5-10 seconds, even if it took you longer. And then skipping B, 2, give you 5 seconds. And then, in how long did it take me? Because I had to review it. I was doing it wrong, maybe 15 seconds. Could be done in less than 1 minute with plug and chug, which means that you don't know how to do the problem, but you take it as at face value that one of the answers is right there, hiding in plain sight. Algebraically, the way the test wants you to do this, okay, this is not directly from a GMAT, otherwise we'd have 5 answers, not 4. This is actually from a YouTube short. A young Indian woman with long brown hair in the center part has some very offhand, she has a very offhand, casual and sharp and native quality about the math that is very, very accessible and welcoming and also accurate, and I like her. I've seen her, so I think I did a screen grab of that. How would she do that? She said, well, you have 3 of these same figure of 4 to the x, so it's 3 times 4 to the x equals 192. But if you have 3 times this, and you have 192 here, so based on those 2 constants, just integers, you divide both sides of the equation by 3. That cancels this one out. 3 over 3 is 1. So you have 4 to the x sitting here, and you have 192 divided by 3 equals 64. Well, if 4 to the x is 64, what is x? You can calculate it, but you can also say, oh, it's 3. 4 cubed gives you 64. Because it's 4 times 4 times 4, which is 16 times 4, which is 64. So that is, it's not faster in the first way, but it's basically a different part of your brain. And if you're more mathematical, nothing to do with smart or not, if you're more math and equation oriented, then you want that second algebraic formula, and it's very precise. But the plug and chug works many times. How many times? I don't know. about a third of the time. That's the art. Okay, this is for a bright auditory student, shall we say? But because of all that setup, so I did more talking and one-way, the one-way, lecture, as opposed to the classical pedagogical technique invented, designed, and made famous by Socrates of asking questions that are not rhetorical questions, but actually engage the student for more interactivity. So because of that, I thought I should give your ears a break, and I should give my voice a break, and we'll come back to it. But if you can read between the lines, I am saying that for the next few, why don't you take us through them, read them, you can read them out loud, and take me through your thinking as to why you're considering which answers, or why you would discard some, or why some are hit such a sweet spot that you know they're right, especially in math, without even wasting your time considering the remaining answers. Okay, thank you very much.